Welcome to Spectator Sporting, sponsored by SpectatorSporting.com. I'm Zach Roach.
I'm Adewale Apata.
Make sure you tune in, go to SpectatorSporting.com for previous shows and much more. We talking NBA free agency, Bulls free agency, and we got Valis Veto here to talk Cubs and White Sox and all-star picks, and as well as much more. But let's get right into it. We've been waiting all summer, all year after the NBA Finals. LeBron James has picked a team, and then it's the Los Angeles Lakers. What's your initial thoughts?
Yeah, we heard the rumors. Was it going to be the 76ers? Was he going to stay in Cleveland? You really wanted him to stay in Cleveland.
I did.
But I thought he was going to wait it out. I'm shocked that he signed with the Lakers so quick on day one of free agency. I thought he was going to wait on Paul George. But he ended up signing a 4-year max deal with OKC. So I'm like, man, maybe LeBron should
He can opt out of the third year now.
After the third year.
Yeah.
And so I thought maybe he would wait for Kawhi Leonard to be traded to the Lakers before he signed with the Lakers, but he went ahead and signed the deal anyway. I guess it's got something to do with his film production company, Spring Hill Entertainment, and he's in Hollywood trying to make those movies.
This shows me he had this decision made long ago. They were just waiting for July 1st. Magic Johnson, I know he went to the house at 9:01 p.m. Right as soon as the deadline was over, they could start recruiting. But LeBron had this in the bag. He knew he was going to do this. This was a basketball decision, but this was more of a life decision as well too. I think he wants to end his career with the Lakers. His family, his son is starting high school in LA. He's got his houses in LA. He's got his businesses, like you say. So I think this is more of not only basketball, but a family decision. Now I must ask, so that's good that he did it for the family, but we're here to talk for the basketball purposes. So for basketball reasons, what does this do for the Lakers?
Well, yeah, it's crazy because, you know, when LeBron joined the Heat, he already had Bosh, he had Wade. When he joined Cleveland, he made the trade for Kevin Love, and he had Kyrie Irving, okay? But now basketball, I really like that young team. Kuzma, he was an NBA all-rookie first-team guy. Alonzo Ball, he was hurt a little bit last year, but you can tell he got all-around game. He's a decent player.
He can play.
Yes, and Brandon Ingram. But that's not enough to beat the Warriors. They need to make a huge deal, make a trade maybe for Kawhi Leonard.
What about the additions of Lance Stevenson and Rajon Rondo?
Man, I don't really think that's a big deal, man, because you know what? They got Lonzo Ball. You know, Rondo is an all-around type point guard. They can't shoot that good. Same thing with Lonzo Ball. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really understand the Rondo.
I kind of get the Rondo. I think that's more to toughen Lonzo Ball up. I think it's more to also help tutor and nurture Lonzo Ball to show up, because one thing about Rajon Rondo, he's a very, very smart point guard. I could see him being an NBA coach one day, so I think that helps him. Now, Lance Stevenson, I have no answer for you. I don't know why they picked up Lance Stevenson. Maybe LeBron was like, hey, this guy plays me tough, so go sign him. Right. You know, but I don't understand that at all. So my thing is with LeBron, like you say, he needs another superstar. And if the whole year, everybody thought that Mr. Paul George was going to LA. That was the thing. He's from LA. You know, imagine they got a tampering charge on him. You know, they had to pay all this excessive amount of money. And with all that said, LeBron signed back with OKC. How surprised were you about that?
I was shocked, man. The man changed his mind, all right? And the same thing, Chris Webber did the same thing back in the day. He was upset when he was in Sacramento, but he ended up changing his mind and staying there and having a lot of success there. So, hey, guys can change their mind, so I think that puts a lot of more pressure on Magic Johnson to make a deal done with Kawhi Leonard, because the Spurs just got a lot more leverage.
They did, but I kind of disagree with that. I think the Spurs are losing leverage, because at the end of the day, if Kawhi wants to leave, he's going to leave anyway. And the longer you hold on to him, teams are backing down. They're not making it offers like they were before. And I think they're losing leverage. So I think you're asking for these astronomical trades. Like, yeah, let me get 9 first-round draft picks. Now they didn't ask for that. I'm exaggerating that. But if you ask for all that, Magic is looking at it like, but like you say, this could burn Magic too, because they thought Paul George was coming to LA. Now Kawhi could, you just thinking Kawhi gonna come to LA, and there's also been reports that Kawhi doesn't want to play with LeBron. He would go to the Clippers if that's the case. They'd rather play with LeBron. I don't know how true that is, but you don't want to get burned twice. So I do agree that Magic needs to make a move, but I also disagree that the Lakers still have the leverage over the Spurs.
Yeah, and you know the Spurs, you see, they feel like Kawhi Leonard has no valid reason to be upset with them. Now, here's why. Tony Parker, in the previous season, he ruptured his quadriceps tendon. He tore it completely. Now, and he came back in 7 months after that. Now, Kawhi Leonard, he didn't tear his quad tendon. He had a what you call a tendinopathy, which is very related to tendinitis. Okay, so and he took a whole lot longer to come back than Tony Parker. So the Spurs doctors are looking at Kawhi like, man, Tony Parker came back in 7 months from a ruptured, tore quad tendon, and I got a tore tendon too. So it's a big deal. And Parker came back in 7 months, and they looking at Kawhi like, man, you know, come on, let's get this going, let's get this thing started. And he's sitting there like getting upset and. The man in the trade, I feel like the Spurs are looking at him like, you're being irrational right now. You don't have a baseless argument to be upset with us.
I disagree with that because I totally disagree with that because here's the thing. Even if that was true, everything you said, you don't go in the public and keep calling him out. As a teammate, Tony Parker don't go on TV and say, well, you know, my was way worse than I came back. You don't go say that about your team, and that's something you keep in-house. Greg Popovich don't keep saying, you got to talk to Kawhi people. You are pretty much alienating him.
Right.
Everybody would feel a certain way. So whether what's going on with injury or not, the Spurs did not, the Spurs need to take just as much blame as Kawhi did.
Yeah, you know, the reporters, they will ask you like, hey, look, Tony Parker, you had a similar injury, it was worse. And then the man asking the question, if you answered the guy's questions, and then, so the reporters led him into answering those questions like that. And then, like Popovich said, talk to Kawhi people. It's up to Kawhi people for him to come back.
No, I felt like they were kind of selling him out there, putting him out there really bad. And, you know, San Antonio. Not saying Kawhi wasn't wrong. Mm-hmm. I think both of them are wrong in this situation. Because they could have talked, I think if they would have kept all their little comments behind closed doors, I think they could have resolved this. Boogie Cousins going to the Warriors. A lot of people mad. Oh, Boogie's chasing rings, this, that, and the third.
Okay.
What's your thoughts about this Boogie Cousins going to Golden State?
The man can do whatever he wants. Boogie can do whatever he wants. Yeah. But what gets me upset is Boogie and his camp misleading everybody, telling them he didn't get no offers. All right. The Pelicans offered him 2 years and $40 million after the torn Achilles tendon. Okay. Now, also the Pelicans, they traded 2 first-round picks for Boogie Cousins. You think they didn't want to bring him back? I just stop misleading people. Just say you want to join Super Team, Boogie. Come on, man.
That could be true, but I also look at it from this point. Boogie averaged 26, 13, and 5. You know, correct me if I'm saying those numbers wrong. 26, 13, and 5. So yeah, I understand he had a big-time injury, but in his mind, he like, listen, when I come back, I'm going to be the same Boogie Cousins. Give me the max deal. Now, that's where he might have made a mistake and thinking other teams was going to offer him a max deal. And he didn't get no offer. And according to a lot of people, a lot of teams did not want to sign him because they did not want his presence in the locker room. They were nervous about him being in the locker room. They thought he'd be pretty much a team cancer. So a lot of teams passed up on him. Even the great legend Magic Johnson did not want him because he was worried that he'd still be injured and he wouldn't be back in time because the Lakers are in win now mode and they didn't want to wait on DeMarcus Cousins. So we can sit up here and blame DeMarcus Cousins saying ring chasing, but we also got to blame these other front offices. They had chances. They know Boogie's cousin value. Right. Okay, yes, the Pelicans, he misled, you know. Yeah. He was wrong about the Pelicans. He thought he could get more than what the Pelicans was offering him. But if this is true, no other team called him and see what's up. Don't get mad at Golden State. Do not get mad at
I ain't mad at Golden State. I'm just saying the Pelicans offered the man 2 years, $40 million, and he didn't sit down with them for a meeting, and he acted like the Pelicans didn't want him, and that's misleading. That's all.
Listen, man, Boogie had to do what he had to do. $5.3 million. You're watching Spectator Sport on SpectatorSport.com. When we come back, we're gonna talk about what the Bulls did. Did they really match Zach LaVine? We'll be back. Welcome back to Spectator Sport, sponsored by SpectatorSport.com. I'm Zach Roach.
I'm Adewale Apata.
This is episode number 12. We call it the GOAT Tom Brady edition. We talking free agencies. We still got Valis Veto to talk baseball with us today. Can't wait to get to that. Right. More free agents, but we got to stay at home right now. The Chicago Bulls did a move, made a move. Zach LaVine, the Sacramento Kings. I don't know. It's a lot of history between the Sacramento Kings and the Chicago Bulls. It's always a trade or something going on. But anyway, Sacramento offered Zach LaVine and the Bulls match. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, it was a big contract they offered him, 4 years, $78 million. The Bulls matched it, but you know what? It's some good and some bad news with that contract the Bulls matched, but I'm gonna go with the bad news first. I always like to start with the bad news.
It's always good to do that.
Exactly. So, Zach LaVine, he came back from ACL injury last year. He missed 58 games. He only shot 38% from the field. That's the bad news. The good news is the man's only 23 years old. Before he came to the Bulls, he averaged 19 points a game, 46% from the field, 38% from three. He's a young guy, has a lot of potential, all right? Now, also, another thing is the Bulls have a ton of cap space. So this $20 million or $19.5 million a year salary is not going to handicap the Bulls to go pursue bigger free agent superstars. And another thing is, now in our article I wrote, 9 reasons why the Bulls overpaid Zach LaVine. My number one reason is that the Bulls can't get, their history, they haven't got big time superstar free agents in their prime. Okay, so you need to keep who you got on your team. If you got them on your team, get somebody that's good, that got some potential, keep them. That's number one reason why the Bulls had to match that offer.
I think the Bulls matched the offer because he was the centerpiece of the Jimmy Butler trade, and they was just like, no, we're gonna make this work. They're determined to make that work. So that was the main reason I think they matched that Zach LaVine off. Number 2, I agree. Zach LaVine is young. I think if you're judging him off last year, it's hard to judge him because he was coming off an ACL injury. Okay, so he's gonna have a full training camp. He's gonna have a full summer. Get his body right. Go ahead and get stronger. He's still young. And we'll see. I have my judgment on Zach LaVine after this season's over. But one thing he definitely has to improve on: defense. Defense and moving without the basketball. Only time he does something is when he has the ball. He has to learn to play without the ball. And once he be able to do it, I think he will be fine. And then, to your last point about the Bulls not being able to get free agents, that is such a loser damn mentality. Okay, this is the Chicago Bulls. We are in the big city right here. And if we got people in the front office that they don't go after people because they feel like they can't recruit and can't get them, we need to get some new people in the front office ASAP. ASAP, ASAP.
Okay, well, you know what? They got to keep the players they got because the best free agent the Bulls ever signed was Pau Gasol and Carlos Boozer. So when you got a history like that, man, you got to keep who you got, man. I just think it's kind of smart just to keep the guys you got.
No, I agree. But the thing that's disturbing is if that's how they feel, if that's their mentality, like 2019 is a big time free agent class. Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson, etc. And you feel like I'm not gonna go after them because they don't want to come to Chicago. That is such a loser mentality.
Oh, they're gonna go after him just like they went after Carmelo when he thought he was gonna play with Butler and Rose and Noah, and he just tricked us to get more leverage with the New York Knicks. We gonna go after him, but I'm a Bulls fan. A lot of Bulls fans know that these guys be getting us all excited, and it don't happen.
That's very true, but sometimes we gotta have front office people that can close the deal. Okay, OKC got Paul George to stay in OKC. Okay, in Chicago, you cannot tell me Chicago's not a better city than OKC. No disrespect to OKC. You cannot tell me that. This is Chicago. We got a lot. It's a lot to do here. Only bad part is cold in the winter. That's it. It's cold. All right. Jared Grant got traded to the Magic. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the Magic, they needed a point guard. DJ Augustine is the only point guard on their roster. Jared Grant had a guaranteed contract. We got some guy named Stone. He has an unguaranteed contract. We're going to cut him. Yeah. And so now Campaign is the backup PG for the Bulls. He needs to stop being known for having dance moves, okay? Be known for being a solid point guard to get assists and, hit shots. All right.
That's even worse.
Campaign is our backup point guard.
They should have went and got Isaiah Thomas. The Bulls should have went and got Isaiah Thomas. He'll be awake, but that's a different story. Right. But we got our point guard situation that's been terrible since Derrick Rose was left. Let's just keep it real. Let's just be honest about the situation. Chris Dunn,
starting point guard.
Chris Dunn Rondo had a couple good playoff games, but for the most part, he's not been good. So, but they definitely need a better backup. Cameron Payne, no way. Now let's talk about this Bulls roster.
Right.
Well, what's your now they're rebuilding. They have some good young players. What's your thoughts? this season, going into this season, looking at the roster now, it might be another move coming soon. We'll talk about that later.
Right.
But it might be another move coming. What's your thoughts on the roster right now of the players the Bulls got?
Right now, I'm loving Wendell Carter Jr. I'm seeing him, like it's just summer league, but
Summer League.
He's looking like he was a very underrated sleeper in the draft. The guy has a soft touch. He has some post game. Looked like Marvin Bagley he was in his shadow, and he took away a lot of opportunities for Wendell Carter to shine at Duke. And also, I think the X factor on the Bulls team is Chris Dunn. He was second in the NBA in steals per game. He has defense, but his turnovers around 3 a game. Shooting percentage 43%. Though, decrease the turnovers, increase your shooting percentage, be more efficient. I think that'd be all right.
I do like that. I love Lauren Markin. Like, you look at him, he's been working this summer. His body is bulked up. Wendell Carter definitely looks good in Summer League. In Summer League, he's looking great. Hutchinson is looking decent too. That first round pick, I can see him coming off the bench this year.
Right.
So I do like what they're doing. And the East is weaker with LeBron going, so they can make some headway. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team, but they definitely looking better. And I do like the young talent. I like where it's going, but we got to show up that backup point guard position ASAP. But I do like where they're going, but we do have. It looks like we have a front line that we can count on for some years.
Yeah. Bobby Porter's off the bench as well, so yeah, they're looking pretty deep. A nice young team that has a lot of potential.
Absolutely. You're watching Spectator Sporting on SpectatorSporting.com. When we come back, Valis Veto is gonna talk baseball with us. We'll be back. Welcome back to Spectator Sporting, sponsored by SpectatorSporting.com. I'm Zach Roach.
I'm Adewale Apata.
This is episode number 12. We call it the Tom Brady GOAT Edition. We got a special guest in the building today. We got Mr. Valis Veto to talk baseball with us. Welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me back.
No problem.
No problem. We got to talk about it. All-Star game coming up. Cubs, they finished off the first half of the season pretty strong, which is good. We got a few All-Stars, Javi Baez, Wilson Contreras, and John Lester. What's your thoughts on that?
Those picks were essentially the right picks. I feel like we should have gotten more, but those picks were probably the top picks in those positions. Those positions are very key to winning championships and winning games, period. So, it makes sense.
Yeah, and Javi Baez, can you talk about him a little bit more? I mean, the man, do you think he's like the Cubs MVP this year? Do you think he took over?
I think he may be the Cubs MVP simply off the heart and soul aspect. The guy plays with all his heart. He loses hard and he wins hard, and he plays hard in every single play.
Yeah.
They give him a lot of grief and flack about his showboat mentality and his I guess you could say his baseball decorum, so to speak. But he's the new wave type of baseball player. More one of the Spanish players that come with a lot of pizzazz, play with a lot of flair. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for the game.
Right.
In my opinion.
I feel you. Now, you say the Cubs should have had more All-Stars this year. So, do you think, I'm thinking you think about Albert Almora Jr. He was third in the league in the National League in batting average. I mean, I guess you think he should have been on that.
Yes, very high batting average. Lots of competition in that lineup every single day. He's getting it done. There's a lot of our potentially MVP status guys that are not bringing it every day, but he's bringing it every single day. So you can't really knock that.
Right. Now we got another team on the south side.
South side?
Right.
South side.
The White Sox. Yeah. We got our all-star, Jose Abreu. The man is 31 years old. The White Sox in year 2 of their rebuild. Do you think the White Sox should trade for some more prospects to try to keep them around for whenever they're good again?
I think the White Sox should absolutely trade him right now. 31 years old, in his prime, playing with a very, very underachieving team. They thought that year 2 would be the corner year, but it's actually take 2 steps back as far as being a contender, even being competitive. They thought that the White Sox would be at least 50% this year, and they're going to get nowhere near that unless they just beat the crap out of everybody for the rest of the year. And it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
So trade him for a bunch of picks, or prospects, even some everyday guys if you can throw them in there. Sell high when he has his high ceiling right now, because guess what? If he gets hurt next year, it'd be useless. So.
True.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely think the White Sox should trade Jose Abreu. Why is hot? got to strike when the iron's hot. You got to strike.
Absolutely.
Go and get some prospects. I'm pretty sure the Yankees, Red Sox, or even the Cubs can want another bat like that in their lineup right now on a pennant chase. Go ahead and get what you can for him right now before his value diminishes. And Almero definitely should be an all-star.
No doubt.
There's no question about it. You're watching Spectator Sporting on SpectatorSporting.com. When we come back, Valis is going to give us our Mid-Season Baseball Awards. We'll be back. Welcome back to Spectator Sports, sponsored by SpectatorSporting.com. I'm Zach Roach.
I'm out there, Wally.
We got Valis Veto still talking baseball. Remember, this is episode number 12. We call it the GOAT edition, Mr. Tom Brady. Who did you want to call it before?
AJ Przinsky.
Not quite. It's Tom Brady. We got Valis Veto. We still talking baseball. We talk Cubs and Sox. Now, All-Star game is around. So now let's talk about these mid-season awards right now. Right now, let's talk managers. Who's your AL manager of the year right now?
I got Scott Service right now. Team's doing phenomenal. Leading the best division in baseball, I would say. What can you say about that? I mean, the best manager for the best team.
National League?
National League, I got Craig Counsell. Same thing. As much as it pains me to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers, they are the best team in the NL. And they have the best players, and they have the best manager right now. So
I agree with you totally on both of those.
Yeah, and for the American League Rookie of the Year, it looked like pitcher / designated hitter Shohei Ohtani was going to run away with it, but he injured his elbow. He ended up on the disabled list. He's been out for a month. So who took over for him? Who's your AL Rookie of the Year right now?
Well, Gleyber is playing on the Yankees, and he is ripping it up. He's hurt right now, but he's ripping it up. He was actually the front runner for All-Star balloting for a while.
Wow.
And then he got hurt and he fell off, but they were talking about MVP and Rookie of the Year for this guy.
Right. Yeah, he did
On
make
a
All-Star
real stacked roster. He got a real stacked roster with a rookie being the best player. Like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, the National League Rookie of the Year, it looked like a two-man race to me with Ronald Acuna Jr. and you got Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves and the Nationals' Juan Soto. Who you got between them guys?
I like Soto, but I got Acuna Jr.
No
And the reason why is Atlanta is surprising everybody. Atlanta was not supposed to be this good, but Atlanta's in the race. Atlanta's been working really hard. This guy is doing stuff that's off the charts, and I don't even think he's been on the roster since day one.
Right.
But they brought him up during the year. So he's awesome.
That team definitely, he's helped that team make a huge transformation. There's no question about it. Now the granddaddy of all awards, not ain't the end of the year, but for we go into the All-Star break. Who is your American League MVP right now?
Ooh, American League.
That's a tough. There's some candidates in the American League right now.
You got a lot of good dudes out there, but I got Mookie Betts.
That's where I was going.
Mookie Betts is probably the best player in baseball. They won.
Mike Trout?
Yeah. I'm thinking about best players in baseball. He may be the best player in baseball. And Machado, this guy is the best player in baseball right now. Oh, absolutely.
National League.
National League. Who do we want to go in the National League?
Javi Baez? No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to go say Chris Bryant, but he sucks this year. But who we got? Let's see. Let's go through the guys real quick.
Okay, well, yeah, National League MVP candidates?
Yes.
I mean, well, you got, we can't say Javi Baez. That would be some Homer stuff, right?
That's two homers.
Yeah. I mean, you go with the guy, Lorenzo Cain.
That's exactly who I got. Lorenzo Cain. Yeah. Unfortunately, I wanted him to say it. Yeah. Milwaukee Brewer, once again, these guys, they got the best player, they got the best manager. It's just...
Best record in National League?
Best record. It hurts, and they might get Machado.
That'd be a huge addition if they get Machado. That'd be a huge addition to them.
No doubt.
No question about it. So we got all our these awards out right now. Going into the second half for the season, what team are you looking at right now? You're like they're gonna make a surge.
So Homer. Chicago Cubs. I think we can take the Brewers if they don't get that guy. I'm scared. I don't even want to say his name anymore because we're looking to try to get a trade with him too, but we don't need that. But the Braves are poised to make that trade, so it's going to be very dangerous out there. I like Atlanta. I like Atlanta a lot. In the AL, I got to go with the Mariners, and that's very much a sleeper because they got a lot of dudes hurt, got some guys suspended for some PED stuff. We're not going to get into too much of that.
They'll be back though. Like people forget, Robinson Cano's coming back. He's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back. Yankees are in a very peculiar spot because they're behind the Boston Red Sox. Could be potentially the best team in major leagues.
American League East is stacked.
It's super stacked.
It's stacked.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Boston and the Yankees, that's, they going at it. Best two teams in baseball right now.
See, the National League, they only really, it's not as good this year. The Dodgers are just not they're not playing as good as we thought they were going to play this year. The Nationals are not playing as good as we thought they was going to play this year. Even the Cubs are not playing as good as we thought they were going to play.
Exactly.
But that shows you that Milwaukee and the Cubs still have the best records in the National League right now.
Right.
Now, before you go though, I do want to talk to you about the C.Y. Young Award. You know what I'm saying? Now we got Justin Verlander in the American League. We got Justin Verlander. You got the Yankees pitcher Luis Severino. I'm sorry, and you got Chris Sale. Okay, so who you got right there?
Chris Sale, no doubt. Chris Sale is dominating baseball like we haven't seen since maybe Randy Johnson, Rocket, Roger Clemens. He's looking phenomenal. He looks like he can't be beat. So.
That's the new Randy Johnson.
No question, Randy Johnson.
Yeah, he's leading the league in strikeouts, and the National League. You got Aaron Nola from the Phillies. You got Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer from the Nationals. So who you got right there?
I got Max Scherzer. He has some of the best stuff we've ever seen, and he can channel it sometimes, and sometimes he kind of goes away from it. But his stuff is amazing, so gotta go with him.
Any love for John Lester right now?
Right.
John Lester gets lots of love. Major love. He is carrying the Cubs in a sense, at least for the pitcher rotation.
Yeah.
Right.
The rest of if you got 6 pitchers, he's the only one that's actually bringing it. So
absolutely,
gotta go with him.
We want to thank you for talking baseball with us again, man.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to do this again.
Oh, no doubt.
You're watching Spectator Sporting on SpectatorSporting.com. When we come back, we have our thoughts. Be back. Welcome back to Spectator Sporting, sponsored by SpectatorSporting.com. I'm Zach Roach.
I'm out there, Wale.
This is episode number 12. We call it the Tom Brady GOAT Edition. Make sure you go on SpectatorSporting.com. Go subscribe on YouTube. Watch previous shows, more shows, and check out the articles written by my man right here. They're really dope. Go ahead and leave a comment on there. Just subscribe. We've been talking a lot of stuff. We already talked about Freighters, we talked about the Bulls, but there's some other guys out there that's not getting attention like LeBron James or Paul George.
Right.
Jabari Parker, Chicago's own. There are reports out there that they are close to making a deal. How would you feel about Jabari Parker joining the Chicago Bulls?
He will fill a glaring hole, because I'm thinking right now, without Jabari Parker, who's going to be our starting small forward? Is it going to be Denzel Valentine or
I hope
Justin Holiday?
No.
Nawaba?
No.
I don't know. So
they renounced Nawaba.
They renounced
him, so he's not going to be with the Bulls next year.
Hey, I would take Jabari Parker. Give him a chance. He had 2 ACL injuries, but he's a dynamic. He can play small forward or power forward, a great scorer. He's going to make the All-Star team a couple years ago before he tore his ACL. But took a chance on him and see if it worked out. Maybe give him a prove deal like what the other guys, Eric Thomas, got. So
I'm going to look at the other side of this. Everything you saying makes sense, but I'm going to look at the other side. The Bulls have had some ACL issues. Going back to Derrick Rose and then Zach LaVine had ACL. Now you're bringing out a guy who's had 2 ACL surgeries. Right. Does that worry you at all?
Well, you know what? Now, we can't just, in Chicago, we're devastated with ACLs because of what happened with Derrick Rose. Yeah. But before that, Jamal Crawford, he did tear his ACL with the Bulls, and he ended up having a very good career. ACL is not as devastating as people think. So I would say, with the technology, with the medical technology that's going on, he can recover. He's a young guy. He's only 24 years old. I think he needs another chance.
He showed himself a little bit when he came back last year. Now, granted, he was only playing 24 minutes a game, but he was still able to get you 12, 13 points a game, get you a couple boards. So maybe you expand his role to 20, 25 minutes a game. He definitely can help, and he definitely better than any small forward that we got.
No doubt.
Isaiah Thomas, he was the big man on campus. He was the man. The Boston Celtics, the smallest guy ever to go in a playoff game and put up more than 50 points. He put Boston on his back. They made the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they traded him.
Right.
Then he went to Cleveland. He had a hip injury.
Right.
He might have came back too soon. We don't know what happened, but he got traded to the Lakers. The Lakers didn't bring him back. Now he just had surgery.
Right.
So he went from telling people you're gonna have to bring out the Brinks trucks to bring out the minimum truck.
You
But
right.
he signed with Denver. What's your thoughts with this one?
Yeah, you were spot on with this guy with his whole situation, man. Like you said, he might lose like $40 to $50 million, and he did. You know,
He lost more than that.
Yeah, he lost a lot of money, millions of dollars. But you know, he came back to. He should have had surgery a long time ago, before last season. He had surgery in March, so hopefully he can get back to where he was when he was MVP candidate in 2017, before he missed those 50 games last season. But now he's playing behind Gary Harris and Jamal Murray in Denver. He got signed with them. And they combined for like around 32 points a game though, that backcourt in Denver. So he's going to start off on the bench, just like you said.
As he should.
But he has a big chip on his shoulder to get in that starting lineup though.
Look, I'm gonna be real with you. Jamal Murray and Gary Harris is gonna be in that lineup. That's just what it is. They're too good. Gary Harris plays both sides of the basketball.
Right.
But in that system, Denver gets up and down the court. They get up and down the court.
Right.
So I think he'll be able to fit. I think he'll be able to flourish. And I think he will be able to do a lot of things for Denver. Coming on, I think he could compete for 6 man a year. Him and Will Barton coming off that bench will be monstrous.
Right. And then, you know, you got what? You got Kevin Love going on. What you think going on with him?
Kevin Love. I don't know. The Cleveland's, that's a tough situation like that with Kevin Love right now. Because Kevin Love is getting paid a lot of money. But Kevin Love he's like the leftover. He's like the last of the LeBron whole saga.
Right.
Well, Tristan Thompson is still there too. But he's like the leftover. But if I'm Cleveland, I would trade him. I think you trade him, you get some more draft picks, because now you're in rebuild mode. Let's just call it what it is.
Right.
And I think you trade him. I also think you trade Tristan Thompson. That's going to be a little harder.
Right.
But Kevin Love is a player. I thought he got undervalued so much playing with LeBron. I think, this is probably the best thing for his individual career, where he don't play with LeBron, he can go back to being himself.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because if you look at the Portland Trailblazers, they have Eminu's starting at power forward. They can just put him on the bench, trade a first-round pick to Cleveland, start Kevin Love to play with McCollum and Dame Damian Lillard. Play with them guys. They got swept in the playoffs in the first round to the Pelicans last year. They need somebody like Kevin Love to give them some more scoring.
And I think Kevin Love, that'll be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Absolute perfect fit. Carmelo, he's out there.
Right.
They basically said they're going to buy him out of his contract. There's been reports OKC has been trying to trade him. They found no suitors.
Right.
I mean, of course they did.
Right.
I mean, no one wants to take that contract.
Right.
So he's going to end up being bought out. However, they're going to use the stretch provision.
Right.
So he's going to be somewhere. Houston seems like the front runner. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they could trade Carmelo in a draft pick to a team with a lot of cap space, like the Kings or the Hawks or the Bulls, and then that team would buy him out since they had so much cap space. But like you said, they could just stretch his contract. But hopefully it happens so he can go to Houston. They lost Trevor Ariza. They lost him. They do need a small forward, and so he can be a decent forward that fill that gap for them and give them some more scoring.
Is Marcus Smart going to be back with Boston next year?
The Sacramento Kings, they want him. They definitely trying to get him. But they just got the Bulls just massive offers. So I don't know. They're going to, because Marcus Smart's a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
So Boston just sitting back to see if somebody can offer him something. I guess they're going to see if the Kings going to send that big offer to Marcus Smart.
Dwight Howard to the Wizards now.
Yeah.
2-year deal. What's going on with that?
I thought the Wizards would go after DeMarcus Cousins since he played in Kentucky.
Bad front offices, but sorry.
I thought they would go after Cousins, but they went with Dwight Howard. But he was fourth in the league in double-doubles. He still got a lot left in the tank. So it'd be nice to see him take over for Gortat, who's not there anymore. He's with the Clippers.
Yes. One more thing. Jimmy Butler got offered a contract extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves, 4 years, $110 million. But he rejected it, according to reports. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's having beef with Karl Anthony Towns, and so he went to the media with it just like he did with the Bulls. So he has a lot of beef there. He thinks he needs more money. There's rumors he's going to play with Kyrie Irving, who has a player option. So we'll see. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves got to be pretty pissed off because they traded LaVine, Dunn, and eventually Laura Markkanen for Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler got beef with everybody. Let's just call it what it is. You're watching Spectator Sporting on SpectatorSporting.com. When we come back, we have our two opinions. A lot of people are very mad about DeMarcus Cousins signing with the Warriors. But this all starts from bad front offices. If nobody offered DeMarcus Cousins any contract, don't be mad that he signed with the Warriors for only $5.3 million. Let's look at the Kevin Durant situation. OKC made some horrible trades. They decided to pay Serge Ibaka and trade away James Harden. They had a monster three. All three of those players have all been MVPs now. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and James Harden have all won MVP. Let's look at our hometown Chicago Bulls. You wonder why free agents don't sign with us? Because we traded for Doug McDermott and gave up 2 first-round picks. It's things like that. Now, if you look at the Golden State, they drafted well. They put themselves in a position to be able to get a Kevin Durant, to get a DeMarcus Cousins. So if you're a free agent, you look at a team like Golden State or anybody else that's making the correct moves, that's what you are supposed to do. So let's not get mad at them. Get mad at these front offices.
Isn't it frustrating when you turn on a sports station and the guy is talking about everything but sports? He goes into great detail about what he had for lunch, some movie he saw last night, or a vacation he got planned with his wife. That's all fine and dandy, but it would be nice to hear about the game. You know, sports. It's like watching the Food Network, but there's no food. Like watching the Animal Planet, but there's no animals. Like watching reality TV, but there's no petty drama. There's even a sports show out there dedicated to non-sports stuff called Outside the Lines. But I want to know what's going on inside the lines. It's great to be a well-rounded person that's into the arts, social activism, or whatever. But there's plenty of media channels out there for those things. So when I turn to the sports channel, it would be nice to hear about sports.